In today's video, we're going to be talking about Lucia's child, what things are going to be like at the beginning of the game, and how the weapon and ammo system is going to work. We'll be diving into all of that in this video today and a whole lot more. So one of the big rumors that's been surrounding GTA 6 and our first real female protagonist, Lucia, is that she is going to have a child in some way, shape, or form, and that is going to impact the story, which certainly complicates things, as we saw in Red Dead Redemption 2 with John and Abigail Marston and their son Jack. It makes things difficult, especially as a criminal on the run. And so there was some discussion surrounding that, with an individual saying, didn't the child leak also said it's only for cutscenes? I can totally see it happening in an intro cutscene or something that gives more emotional value to Lucia's story. With Insider Tez Funds 2 saying yes, and if it's true, Rockstar wouldn't feature the child outside of cutscenes or safe zones, and you can't draw out weapons or harm anyone. So let's talk about that bit first. Yes, Rockstar is not going to get themselves in trouble here, and if they do feature a child in any way, shape, or form, whether that be a baby or someone who's roughly as old as Jack Marston's age, they're not going to be put in a position where our player can do any harm to them. So Jack Marston could be seen outside of cutscenes, but he was only seen at the campsite where you couldn't draw out your weapons and no harm could be done, nor could he be injured. And even when he was featured outside of the campsites, it was done within the safety of confined missions where he also couldn't be hurt either. Think of the mission where he goes fishing with Arthur Morgan. You can't do anything with him in that one. And Rockstar has featured infants and children in the past in Grand Theft Auto. Think of Vice City Stories with Vic Vance and his kid, but that again was only in cutscenes, where again, Rockstar can guarantee the safety of the child. And so going back to the other point, that means that if she is going to have a child, it would give emotional value to the story and wouldn't be for the sake of a feature of, hey, kids are in the game. It's going to be Lucia has a child. She at one point in time had a relationship with someone to have that child. And now all the things she does throughout the story could be motivated by this child, whether trying to be providing for it or trying to find it if they got separated early on, because we do know that at some point in time she becomes incarcerated and thrown in prison, which obviously means her child isn't going to be there with her. So there definitely could be some story elements here that make things interesting. You do certainly have to take this with a grain of salt because it is a leak and a rumor at this point, although some things like this do turn out to be true. Remember that Arthur Morgan was supposed to have a child as well that was supposed to not make it through the first chapter in the brutally cold snowstorm, but Rockstar eventually ended up cutting that from the game. So maybe this is the same scenario here, or maybe indeed we do see the effects of Lucia having a child. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Now, there was more follow-up to this and honestly how the whole thing might work. There was some discussion regarding on how the intro of the game is going to work, and Insider Test Funds 2 said this: I think the intro would play out like GTA 5's intro. We are introduced to Lucia from some time in the past as she's committing a small robbery that went south, leading to her serving time in prison. Fast forward to her release on parole, with limited map access serving as a tutorial for us. As for Jason, I think his intro would be as distant as Trevor's introduction was. We may not see him on land, but on a boat that we saw in the leaked videos, perhaps serving as an introduction to fishing too. So this has almost become Rockstar's MO on how they begin games, where they essentially start us in the past or before the main part of the story. Like with GTA 5, North Yankton, 9 years before that story began, it's completely distanced from where we pick things up in Los Santos and modern times, and it could be some sort of robbery that goes south. And where we meet in Vice City is her actually serving time in prison, being released, and we know that she's going to be on a limited access because of the ankle monitor we can actually see in the artwork. And this could be Rockstar's way of saying, all right, you don't have access to all of the map quite yet. Like, you might not be able to leave the city limits of either Port Gellhorn, Vice City, whatever the case might be. And then it might be a similar situation to how Trevor was introduced in the game. Obviously, we started off as Franklin, then very on got introduced to Michael, but it really wasn't until like a third of the game was underway until we got Trevor involved. And maybe that will be the exact same case here with Jason. He won't be introduced right at the beginning of the game. so they might not necessarily know each other from the past. And meeting Jason could also serve as an introduction to other activities, whether it be fishing or whether it be that crazy airboat that we saw going through the Everglades. Maybe it's some sort of task that he helps us ultimately play out, but I could see that happening as well. And given what we've seen so far in the trailer, how we know she's in jail, we know that she's going to have an ankle monitor on her, we know that they have sort of a history of committing small-time robberies. This theory does make sense. It could play out like the Rockstar ones of the past, where we see an event from a few years ago and then ultimately transition to present day times. Now, the last subject I want to talk about in this video today is kind of the weapons and the ammo and how it's going to work. As someone ended up saying this, I'd rather have the option to put the suppressor on and take it off on the fly than be able to change the weapon ammo type on the fly. The latter could be done in ammunition itself and or in the safe house, similar to how it works in MSG5. With TezFunds2 saying, to be honest, changing the ammo type isn't an expectation at this point. It's a mechanic we will definitely see, especially since we have physical storage of ammo in our inventory, not the ammo up your ass type of inventory anymore. So if you run out of regular ammo and have special ones, then the game should immediately use them in place of the regular ones instead of forcing you to go to ammunition. Buying ammo, however, should require you to pick them up from somewhere, emphasizing the immersion of physical storage. It wouldn't make sense for ammo to magically appear up your ass upon purchasing from your phone. And I like this. It keeps the game realistic without making it inconvenient. And I hope that Rockstar does give us some version of Red Dead Redemption 2's inventory and ammo system where you're only able to have access to a certain amount of guns on your character and a certain amount of ammo and ammo types too, versus having pretty much everything in your back pocket like GTA 5. And this makes things a little bit more realistic, but it also doesn't make it so unrealistic that once you run out of one ammo type, you have to sit there and then switch to the other. The game will do it naturally for you, but I also like the idea of not just being able to magically spawn ammo up your butt. Yes, you might be able to order it from your phone, but then you might have to physically pick it up at either a gun store, your safe house, or even it might be delivered to, let's say, your vehicle, for example. Red Dead Redemption 2 did a really good job of utilizing the horse as like your not only transportation, but like your home base for all your storage. So maybe we're going to have dedicated vehicles or one type of car that we can put as our like standalone vehicle that we use every single day, and that becomes sort of our safe house on the road storage area. And unfortunately, we probably won't see anything like that confirmed until the official gameplay trailer or gameplay videos arrive for GTA 6. Who knows when that is going to be? But I'd love to hear from you guys in those comments down below. Let me know what you think about everything we discussed in this video today. Lucia's child, how that might ultimately work out. How do you think the intro of the game is going to be? And what do you think the weapon and inventory system will be as well? Let me know what you're thinking in those comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go and enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the GTA 6 videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.